Hello guys, you're welcome to level 7 of our character modeling, and in this level we're going to be doing some basic shading to our character. So what we'll do next, we're going to hover our mouse to this point where we have shading and click on shading, and it takes us to our shading editor. So what we'll do is that we're going to be adding some basic colors or some basic shadings to our character. So in this region here is called our node editor, our material editor. So what we'll do is very simple. I'm going to select our character face, our character body, and in this place I will click new. So now we have our principal BSDF here. And so these are our material editor. So what we'll do now, we'll come to where we have base color and click on base color. And we're going to select our picker tool, our eyedropper, and come and select this color here. So now we have our base color on our character body for the skin. So what we can also do here, we can also increase the roughness. So increase in specularity will make our character to be looking very shiny and looking like a plastic, more of a plastic. So if I reduce the roughness, it's going to be looking more like a plastic. So we have metallic here also. We want it to look like a metal, but we don't want metallic. So we're going to reduce the specularity and increase the roughness. So this is what I want. I want it to look like this. So what I'll do next, I'll come here also and select my character shot and come here and say new. I'll go to base color and I'm going to select this eyedropper and select this, so I can come here and change the color to a little bit darker. So we can easily play around our character. You can decide to change the color to any color of your choice. This is perfect for me. So what I'll do next, I can select this also, come here to where we have new, and I can either decide to choose any other color. So I can choose this color also. So it depends on what you want, and we'll come here and select this and say new. Go to base color and we can select this for our hair. Same with this. Come to new, go to base color, and let's select this also. So now we're going to work on our character eye. So we'll come to our front view, come down here. So we'll select this. Also, we'll say new to add a new color. So this is white. So what we'll do now, we'll say tab for object mode, 3 for face selection. So I can Windows drag and select all this face here. So what I'll do is that I'm going to add another material to our eyeballs here. So I'll come to where we have slot 1. So I'll click on this arrow downwards and I'm going to add another new material. So I'll come here and say plus sign and add that. So once you add that, click on that plus sign to add a new material. I'll come here and say assign. So if I've assigned that, I will now come to where I have new. I'll click on new and I'm going to change the base color to black. So you can decide for yourself any color you want to use for the eye. You can make this kind of dark blue also, and let's see how it looks like. So it depends on what you want, but for me I would prefer it to be black, and I'm going to move it down to this point. So I want it to be pure black. That is okay. So I'll do that for the second eyeball here, eye socket. I'll select this and I'll come here and say new, and I'll say tab for object mode. For my face selection, I'll Windows drag and select all this. So I can easily make this eye big also too. Let's see how it looks like. Let's select, hold shift and alt and select this also. So you can come here to slot 1 and say add a new material, assign this, come to new, go to base color and let's make this black. Say tab. So now we have our character looking like this, and I think this is nice. So I'm going to select this back again and say tab. So I can 3 for face selection. I can hold alt and select this loop here and come to my slots and select this black and say assign. So that's simple to add basic shading to your character. So we can really play along with this also. We can select this and we can come to specularity and increase specularity also, and reduce the roughness. Select this also, increase specularity and reduce the roughness a little bit. So this is nice for our character eye. So we can easily play around too with the clothes and select our character shirt and say tab for object mode, and then we can do some designers here also. We can say B, we can say 3 for face selection, Alt Z, and we can say we can select all this, or let's come here, hold Alt and select all this loop. So we can select all this loop around, and we are going to assign a white color to them. So just ensure that we can select all this. You can say slash to hide every other thing. So now we have select some place that we don't want to select. So I can deselect all this region and deselect all this region. So you can play around to add different colors in your character shirt. Okay, I think I'm good to go now. So this is left out, so I can select this. I'm going to select this also. When I'll come here to slots and say add and say assign. You can say new, and we can make that, we can make this black color. You can assign that color, and we can come to base color and make this black. So this is what we have now, and we can easily play around. We can change this back. We don't want that to be, so we can now select this part that we want to be black and assign them. So come here to this point and say assign, to assign this color. So I can hold Alt and select this and say assign. So I want this also to be yellow, to be orange and not black. So I can hold Alt and and select this and say yellow to assign that. So we've done that. Now we can do this for this other side of our character hand, and we can do the same here also. So select all this loop. I'm going to select this loop also and select this loop, and we can come here and say assign and do the same here also. Hold Alt and hold Shift and Alt to select all this, and we're going to assign the same black to it. Come here and say assign. So this is what we have now. So we can easily still change the color to white also. So yeah, so we have options to change this. So you can say slash, and we have something looking like this. So you can say tab, and also we can make this any color of our choice. And decide to make this ox blood, and we can select this, and we can make this dark blue also. So we can really play around with colors. So we can select this also, and select this white, and we can change this So you can play around and change this to any color we choose to. Say tab for object mode. So it depends on what you want to achieve. I think this is okay now. So what we'll do next, there are other options we can do too. So we can select this and come to where we have subsurface. So we can increase our subsurface and see how it looks like. So subsurface is like having two colors together, mix two colors together, and these are subsurface color. You can decide to make this red, and if you watch now, it's having influence in our characters. If I increase the subsurface, so I have more of this color in here, so I can reduce this to this point. I don't really need much of it. So I just need few of it in it just to blend those two colors together. So this is our character, which is nice, and there's a lot we can do with our character. So we can come back to our layouts, and in our viewport here, we can move. So we can come to where we have viewport shading and click on viewport shading, so we can see our character properly. And now I can come now and hide my references. So what I'll do next, I'll say Shift A to add an object. I'll come to mesh and add a plane. I'll say S to scale this plane. I'm going to move this plane downwards. In my front view, I will ensure my character is on top of the plane, which is nice. And what I will do next, I will scale the plane, S to scale uniformly, and I will say tab for edit mode. I will say tool for edge selection. I'll select this edge and say E to extrude and Z to extrude on the Z axis. So this will be my backdrop. I'll select this edge here and say Ctrl B to bevel that, and I will scroll my mouse to add several loop cuts to that. So if I've done that, I'll say tab for object mode. I'll right click and say shade smooth to smooth those regions, and I'll come back to my shade editor. So now I'm going to add a material to this backdrop. Come to new and say base color. So I can decide to add any form of backdrop to this. So I need something kind of darker. I think this blue will be perfect. Looking like a sky blue. Okay. Can bring this back downwards a little bit. Okay, this is okay for my backdrop. So I'll come back to my layout. So this is what we have now, and we're going to stage our character. So staging means to add camera to our character, to our scene. So because this is a character scene, so I'll come here now and click on toggle the camera view. You can click 0 on your notepad keyboard to toggle that, and I'll click N to bring out these options here. And I'll come to view here, and I'll say click on camera to view. So now I have the chance to now hold my central mouse button and adjust my character. I can rotate my camera. So I'm just going to make this straight. So I'll select my reference first and say S and Y and X to scale this. I want this to cover my camera to feed that. So what I'll do next, I can hold Shift and my middle mouse button to drag my camera downwards, and I can hold Control and middle mouse button to move my camera. So this is nice, so I can move it to this point. So I just want, I can hold Shift and Control also, move this to this point. So you can come, if you have done that now, you can uncheck this back and say N, and we can come to our camera properties. We select our camera, can come to our camera object data properties. So there are different things we can play around here. You can so now this is our focal length. So if I increase it, it's going to move forward and become very small. So you can leave it this way at 50, the way it was, which is okay for us. So what we'll do next is to come to our render engine. So these are our render properties. Come to our render properties. So our render engine is at if. So we can change this to circles for now first, and we'll come to where we have color management. So click on color management, leave this at filmic, where we have look. We're going to come click on it, and we have very low contrast, and let's see how it looks like. It makes it look blur, but so we're going to select very high contrast or high contrast, depends on what you want. And if you select high contrast, it gives us depth. So our scene now is having depth, so we just add some depth to our scene, which is nice. So we can increase exposure here, and we can reduce, but I'll leave this way. I won't change anything here. I can leave these samples at 1000. We can leave yours at 800. I just need to just be at 1000, which is nice. So what I'll do next is very simple. So if you've done this, now we can add, we can light our scene, which is very simple. So to light our scene is not very simple. We'll be using 3 points lighting techniques, and I think I'll do that in the next tutorial. So please kindly subscribe, like, follow me, and make some comments. And if you want this character model, you can make purchase on it on my seller account, and I will leave the link on my description below, so you can make purchase. It's just for few dollars, and you can get the FBX file also. Thanks for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe and hit the like button also.